I can't believe at a time when you're hearing about thousands of jobs being shredded out of the mining sector that you'd pick up a story like this with Hanson. They're a big mob now. They run concrete trucks and heaven knows what else. They're putting an application for 457 visas to fill what they claim are hundreds of transport jobs. Obviously, the Transport Workers Union have a view on this. Peter Biagini's the State Secretary. It's hard to believe that there'd be such a shortage of truckies.
Yeah, good afternoon. We're very concerned about this. It's Hanson's and another company, Nolan's from over at Gatton. 12 months ago, they put an application in, 170 drivers each year over a 3-year period. And at present, they're putting drivers off. And we've been trying to do a new enterprise agreement, and they're fogging us off for about 6 months now. And we know they've put an order in for new trucks, and we're wondering who's going to be driving these new trucks. Is it going to be migrants on 457s when Queensland 6.4% unemployment at the moment? We believe there's enough drivers out there in our community to fill these positions.
But is this maybe a union-busting approach? In other words, to keep you blokes out of their workplaces, to stop you with your enterprise bargaining agreement? We'll just hire a worker from overseas, we'll negotiate a wage with them.
Well, they already pay some of the lowest industries. You know, a concrete truck driver, $22.22 an hour is pretty low wages. And they don't want to increase that, obviously. So maybe that's the purpose of using migrant workers to keep it away from increasing those wages. But this company's also just come off the back of trying to terminate 100 of their drivers in New South Wales only weeks ago and was forced to back off that. But usually they come back again. So they've got a hidden agenda, and we're extremely concerned.
So, Peter, it's an application. It actually hasn't happened. Is it, again, part of that negotiation? You've got the EB negotiations on. Are they saying, well, look, mate, if you don't come to terms, we'll just bring a few hundred people from overseas to slot in?
Well, it's something rare. I've never seen this before. There's plenty of other tactics they can use, but to actually make a application to the Immigration Department to get this approved is a big job. They've used their top end of town lawyers to do this, and so that's their hidden agenda, is to do it. It's been in the building industry for some time, mining industry. This is the first time we've seen it starting to come in the transport industry. And you know, this industry is a pretty unsafe industry already, let alone to have people that may not have the skills out there on the highways using, you know, B-double tippers and concrete trucks and so on.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of blokes who drive for a living who aren't members of the TWU.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, there's heaps of independents and people who negotiate directly, and that's the way it should be. Yep. But having said that, you'd be worried. You'd want to make sure that the skill set is complete for everybody who is driving, a big vehicle.
Yes, absolutely. And with the downturn in the mining industry, I imagine there'd be plenty of people wanting to fill jobs. And if they haven't got the skills, well, the company should be training those people. But, you know, coming out of the mining industries, they would normally have those type of skills. And it's all around, these problems not just in Brisbane Metro, it's around the regional area as well as around Australia.
So getting more people on the road and getting them on the road safely, I reckon it's the fatigue thing. I know there's all sorts of books and requirements, the amount of time you can work and so forth, but if you're driving 10 tonnes or 20 tonnes or whatever behind you, and you're slightly fatigued, and you're used to, say, driving on the other side of the road, there's a chance you may correct to the wrong side and wipe somebody out. I mean, this could happen. It happens.
It absolutely happens all the time, and that's why there is so many incidents every day out in the highways involving heavy vehicles. And, that's one of the reasons we got their Road Safety Remuneration Tribunal to try and assist that. But there are plenty of good companies out there that use today's technology. You know, they got sensors that picks up as soon as the truck start to veer off the roads through the white markers, and it alerts them straight away. There's plenty of new technology a lot of these big companies that are doing the right thing are using to reduce that risk. But other companies don't seem to take the responsibility.
See, it's just that 457s is not a cost-saving measure, because there's a minimum wage you've got to pay, and based on what you're saying, it may well be at the same level they're paying truckies right now. So it just strikes me it's about stopping you blokes. It's about driving the unions out of the sector and putting on people who aren't going to join the union on their workforce?
Well, I believe it's more of them trying to get a competitive edge over their competitors by not being able to do the job better or provide a better service. It's all about them being able to do it cheaper. And if they can get people in on 457s to keep the wages down low, as I said, this company already pays some of the lowest rates in the industry. It's the way they get a market edge. It's a bit like the other big giants that we know that we have problems with, the Coles and Woolworths, with fuel and everything else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Nolan's a big company. I mean, they bring most of the produce out of the Lockyer Valley for Coles and Woolies. Hanson's are driving concrete trucks loaded up with bricks. They make all sorts of things as a company, Hanson's. You'd have thought these big companies would be so risk-averse they wouldn't want to be hiring people who weren't as fully competent as some others.
You would think so, especially with the value of these vehicles. Some of them worth $500,000, and they're putting somebody behind the wheel of $500,000 worth of equipment on $20 an hour.
They're on the road with me,
sense.
mate. They're on the road with me.
Yeah.
That's what we've got to worry about.
Yeah.
You know, and people I care about are on the same roads too.
And then because they pay so low, they can't get a good quality driver, and that creates another problem of unsafety habits on the roads.
All right, well, Peter, good to see you, and just keep us up to speed on this. It's an application at this stage. They haven't started to fill it, but it's something we've got to keep an eye on. All right, Peter Biagini from the Transport Workers Union. It's a potentially very serious issue.